Well, you know, last year we were really young and inexperienced, and had a pretty good year. And it's, you know, it's very rare where you get a good group of kids coming back, and we feel really, really good about it. So our focus has been on making sure those kids are ready to take that next step. And you know, the weight room, we've improved tremendously. Our team speed, I'm also the track coach, so I make those guys run track, and we just feel our skill level everywhere around, we're just way better. This will probably be the best team I've ever had if it comes to fruition.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. It's great for you.
Yes.
And if you could just, I'm sure you got a chance to look at your preseason schedule.
Yes.
Just discuss who will be playing and, you know, what that looks like and, you know, how you guys are approaching it.
Okay, yeah, our first game and the only game we ever talk about is Rancho Buena Vista down from San Diego. They struggled a little bit last year, but they were very competitive in a lot of games. So, but now they'll have a new coach, probably a new system, and so, you know, there's going to be a general amount of excitement down there. But, you know, we have to focus on what we do, and we're pretty good at what we do. So, you know, we don't talk too much about our upcoming opponent, but as a staff, we get ready for them. So I'm looking for everything. And then after that, we're going to play Valley View. That'll be our first home game. And again, they got their old coach back last year, and so I'm sure he's getting that thing going again, like he did when he was there before. And then, of course, we have the big matchup with King, which last year was a 9/11 matchup, September 11th, and we had the big flag on the field. It was awesome. It was awe-inspiring, and our kids played great. So this year we're going to go to King and you know, play a Big 8 team and see what we can do there. And then we've added Corona to our schedule this year. And so we're looking forward to that game, and that'll be a crazy, it could be a high-scoring game because we both run the same type of system. So we're excited about that game. And then, of course, we have Temecula Valley, who we've played every year for so many years, and that concludes our preseason. And then we step in the league, and of course, you know, the rotation has gone through, so we'll open up with Temescal Canyon and continue through with Elsinore in the middle, and then we'll close out the season with Heritage.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in season, you kind of mentioned it already a little bit, but would you consider, of course you're not overlooking anybody.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
who would you consider is one of those, you may not circle it, but in your mind it's circled, it's a rival team, it's a team we want to beat?
Well, I think there's no question the game with Heritage is the game. And last year we felt like we really closed the gap. You know, our kids didn't back off of them, and they were a very good team last year. I think it was the best overall team they've had. They had a senior class that was 3-year starters. I mean, they were good. They were very good, and we went blow for blow with them. And that was with our young pups. So we're pretty excited this year. You know, it feels good when your JV took care of them, and then all those kids are coming up. We feel like this will be the year that Week 10 game could be something special. So.
And now, you know, you mentioned JV, Lee being a former coach, player.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just kind of speak on how important it is to have lower level freshman program to help build your, actually build your full program?
Well, I think it's huge. When I first have gotten into a program, the first thing I do is I hire my offensive line coach and then the head freshman coach. That's always the order I've always hired them, and that's the priority that I give in a program. And you know, we struggled a little bit with our freshmen last year, but they're a very good athletic class, and we feel like there's enough in there that have worked with it and stayed with it the whole off season that we're going to be okay. Our JV class was awesome. I mean, they were all the sophomores that didn't get bumped up to varsity, and when they were freshmen, they went 9-1, should have been 10-0, and it wasn't even close. So that group is really special, and now they're starting to get, you know, we mix them in with the varsity, and so we put them in situations through off-season passing league and all these competitions to get them ready for the next level. So we really feel like because our program is continuous, we've actually taken a freshman and brought him up to varsity in a playoff game, and he was able to play without skipping a beat, because our program is, we don't let the freshmen do what they want to do. My eyes are on every level. I watch film on every level, and I make sure I know every kid in the program. So it really helps our program, no doubt. Yeah.
And also, who would you say, it could be leaders or captains, or it could be both, that you consider are going to be big impact players for your team?
Well, there's no doubt our 3 sophomores that'll be juniors. They were first-team all-leaguers. Chance Nolan, Phillip Mills, and Stephen Bradshaw. You're talking about your quarterback, middle linebacker, and free safety. In baseball, they talk about how you got to be strong up the middle. Well, we're pretty strong up the middle. And those 3 guys are fantastic. And I look for huge seasons from all 3 of them. Our running back, Corey Maddox, could be one of the best we've ever had. He was a junior last year. It was hard for him to get in rotation because he had 2 3-year starters in front of him, with Kyrie Joyner and DeMarco Pruitt. Tough to get a lot of reps, but in a lot of games we were winning pretty big. So he did his thing, and it was almost unfair to put him on JV because he was so good. One stretch he had 8 straight touches for 8 touchdowns. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So, we didn't use him a lot on JV because it just wasn't fair. So, but he's been doing great in the offseason, running track. And, of course, we have our receivers, Jaden Lundy, Seth Carvalho, Blake Moore. They're all as good of receivers as I've had. Our offensive line, we have 3 returning starters, with Seth Harris being the left tackle, 3-year starter, and then Dylan Adams at center, and then we have a sophomore, Christian Ruiz, coming back as well, and there's a fight for the other 2 spots. Secondary-wise, we could be as good as I've ever had. Linnell Harrell is a returning starter at 1 corner, and then of course we have Jacob Salas, who's come in and done a fantastic job, and Nick Naranjo, 2 guys that have transferred in, and they're right up there in the thick of it. And then D-line wise, we got some newbies, but we'll be bigger than last year, more athletic. And then of course Dylan Rodriguez filling out our outside linebacker spot, and we have backups. So I'm excited about this group. I'm excited about it, and you got to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
But on paper, I really like this group.
That's always nice to have.
Yeah, and it's an amazing thing that our team GPA last year was a 3.30.
That's great.
And almost all those guys are back. So a lot of our guys are 4.0 guys. They're smart, they're savvy, and they're football players. So I'm excited about it.
That's good. That's really good. And now you already mentioned that one, but let's just kind of move to a different area.
Okay.
7-on-7.
Mm-hmm.
It's become pretty popular.
Yep.
It's growing every day. Do you feel, or you and your staff feel pressure at all that you need to do more or coach more? Which, I mean, coaches always coach.
Right.
You feel like you have to do more as a coach because of the 7-on-7?
Honestly, I've been throwing the ball for my whole time in the Inland Empire. It was me and Matt Logan back in the 90s, and people thought we were crazy not having a tight end, and they thought we were crazy throwing the ball all the time. We've been doing it for a long time, and we play football year-round. And it's just part of our culture. Our kids, we practice 1 night a week from January till May, and literally I use that as leverage to keep kids out. So if they messing up in class, I tell them, you can't go to practice on Thursday. And who does that? Most kids would be like, oh, great. But it's completely voluntary, and it's just part of what we do. Yes, it makes you coach more because running an effective passing game is not like just pitching a ball to a guy and hoping his ability. There's a lot of technical aspects to it, but we enjoy it. We love it. We've been good at it for a long time. People have teased me forever, you throw too much. Well, now they're not laughing so much because, the club thing is changed the game. But as the SIFCA president, I've really been fighting that we do off-season stuff to keep our teams together and not just letting them go out to all these guys in the club. So for me, it's business as usual. So, yeah.
And the last question for you is, in your own words, I mean, I'm sure it should be pretty easy because in 12 years, what's special about Paloma Valley?
Well, I think, honestly, the continuity of our program is huge. You see the turnover in coaching today, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There was 75 new coaches in this offseason. I don't think I've ever seen more than 15 jobs open. And, the culture is really pushing guys out, just getting tired of it. Well, one thing that's special about Paloma is we're a very diverse community. I have kids of all kinds. We have intelligent kids. But our football program is so continuous that kids come in from all over and they get right into the system. The parents buy in, and it really is a great place to work. I have 15 more years to go, and I don't plan on going anywhere. If it was dropped in my lap, I wouldn't take it. Love Paloma Valley.